Snoop's laughter faded as he hit play. On the screen, President Traoré's calm, steady voice filled the room. "Mr. Dogg," he began, "I've always admired your voice and the way you inspire people. But today, I wanted to reach out personally, not as a leader, but as someone who believes in the power of connection. Your music has reached us here in Burkina Faso, and it has reminded our youth that hope can exist even in hard times." Snoop sat frozen, his hand hovering over the phone. Words he didn't expect stilled in his throat. The president continued. "I just wanted to say thank you for your artistry, for your courage, and for reminding us all that every voice matters." For a long moment, no one in the studio spoke. Snoop's eyes welled up. Tears streamed down his cheeks as he whispered, "Man, wow!" Fans watching the livestream erupted in stunned silence, then applause and cheers, witnessing the raw vulnerability of the rap icon. It wasn't just admiration, it was recognition, a human connection that transcended borders, fame, and circumstance. That video, just a minute long, had shifted something in Snoop. And in that moment, the world saw the power of respect, gratitude, and heartfelt words between two very different, yet profoundly connected people. Snoop wiped a tear from his cheek, his usual laid-back demeanor replaced with quiet reverence. "Man, I didn't see that coming," he said, his voice trembling slightly. He looked at his team, then back at the camera. "Y'all, sometimes you think you know what impact you got, but then someone halfway across the world reminds you it's real. It's real out here." The chat continued to flood with hearts, prayer hands, and messages of awe. Snoop took a deep breath, leaned back, and shook his head slowly. "We gotta do something," he said softly, almost to himself. "These kids, these people, they see hope in me, in music. I can't just sit here." He paused, letting the weight of Traoré's words sink in. The studio, normally filled with laughter and beats, now felt sacred. "We gotta lift 'em up," Snoop added, voice stronger now. "Show them the world sees them too." And just like that, what started as a casual live stream had become a global moment of empathy, connection, and the reminder that sometimes a single message can move millions. If you want, I can continue with Snoop deciding how to respond directly to President Traoré and plan a gesture for the children. It could be very moving. Do you want me to take it there next? Snoop's hands shook slightly as he set the phone down. The studio, usually buzzing with beats and laughter, was quiet. Everyone felt the gravity of the moment. He ran a hand through his hair and whispered, almost to himself, "Man, this right here is bigger than music." He looked back at the camera, his eyes glistening. "Y'all, we out here chasing hits, awards, all that. But sometimes a single voice, a single message, can touch hearts half a world away, and it hits harder than any crowd I ever played for." Snoop leaned forward, gripping the edge of the desk. "We gotta step up. These kids, these families, they're counting on hope, and we can give it to them. Not with fancy stuff, not with hype, but with real love, real care, real action." He paused, letting the words settle. "Ibrahim, brother, I hear you, and I ain't letting them down." The cameras rolled, capturing a side of Snoop that fans rarely saw, vulnerable, human, and determined. It was a moment that would resonate far beyond the live stream, inspiring millions who watched to realize the power of empathy and connection. If you want, I can continue with Snoop planning his response and organizing a way to support the children in Burkina Faso. It could be an emotional, uplifting next chapter. Do you want me to continue it? He leaned back, taking a deep breath, letting the weight of the message settle in. "Y'all," he said, his voice low but firm, "we get caught up in the glitz, the lights, the shows. But sometimes, one message, one voice can remind you why you even do what you do. And man, this one right here, it reminded me." He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand, turning toward the camera, speaking directly to the millions watching live. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than music. It's about these kids out there who need hope, who need to know someone cares. That's real power. The chat exploded again. Emojis, prayers, hearts, everyone feeling the raw emotion. Snoop leaned forward, voice breaking slightly. President Traoré, I hear you. I see you. And I ain't letting these kids down. We're gonna do something real, something lasting. Ain't just talk this time. The room stayed quiet for a beat, everyone absorbing the gravity. Then Snoop cracked a small, weary smile, still teary-eyed. Sometimes it takes one letter, one message, to shake the soul awake. This woke me up. If you want, I can continue with the Snoop, starting to organize a campaign to support the children of Burkina Faso, showing the real-world impact of this moment. Do you want me to continue? Snoop looked up, still rubbing his eyes. What now, man? He asked. The manager stepped in, holding a tablet. Snoop, it's everywhere. News, social media. People are calling for you to respond, to do something. They want to help. Snoop leaned back in his chair, taking a deep breath. Man, it's bigger than me. This ain't about headlines. It's about them, the kids. The ones who don't even have a voice loud enough to be heard. I gotta do something real. His manager nodded. You thinking a campaign? A fundraiser? Something to bring attention and resources over there? Snoop cracked a small, determined smile. Yeah, we gotta show them they ain't forgotten, and I ain't just talking money. We talking awareness, education, support, everything. Let's make this week count. Across the globe, President Traoré would soon learn that a simple, heartfelt message had sparked a movement. A week where hope, compassion, and action collided in ways neither he nor Snoop could have imagined. If you want, I can continue with Snoop organizing his first live charity event in response, reaching millions and directly helping Burkina Faso's children. Do you want me to take the story there? Snoop swallowed hard, blinking back tears. Man, I don't even know what to say, President. This hits deep. Traoré's eyes softened. Then don't say anything. Just hear me. The children, the mothers, the families, they need hope. They need voices beyond these borders. You have one of the loudest. Snoop leaned back, letting the weight of the moment settle. I hear you, brother, and I promise I ain't just listening. We gon' do something real, something that lasts. Traoré nodded, a quiet pride in his expression. That is all I could ever ask. Your words, your music, your action, they give life to hope. And hope can never be silenced. The screen went dark, leaving Snoop staring at the empty frame, his heart racing. This was more than a call. It was a call to action, a bridge between two worlds, and a reminder that even one person's influence could ripple across continents. Do you want me to continue with Snoop immediately mobilizing his team to create a global initiative in Burkina Faso? He paused, letting the words hang in the warm evening air. We all got people out there feeling like nobody sees them, like nobody cares. But I seen a man on the other side of the world who reminded me, they're not invisible. And we got power to change that. The chat exploded, fans typing faster than ever, some sharing their own stories of struggle, others promising to take action. Snoop's usually playful energy was replaced with something raw, authentic. I ain't just talking music no more, he said, voice steady but heavy with emotion. I'm talking heart. I'm talking hope. And if we all use what we got, our voices, our platforms, our love, we can make sure nobody gets left behind. Not anywhere. He leaned back in his chair, staring at the stars above, and whispered softly, almost to himself. Trey, you changed me today, and we're gonna change the world together. Do you want me to continue with Snoop organizing a global campaign to directly support Burkina Faso's villages? The footage went viral instantly. Children with bright eyes and wide smiles sang every word they knew, their voices carrying across the dusty streets of their village. Some held worn-out posters scrawled in colorful marker. "You see us, Uncle Snoop." Snoop watched the video on his phone, tears streaming freely. "Man, they're singing my songs, and they're happy because someone noticed them," he whispered, his voice breaking. He turned to his crew, who were equally moved. "We gotta do more. We have to do more than just watch." Meanwhile, across the ocean, President Traoré sat in his office, smiling faintly, but with a quiet pride. He had known the power of one voice to inspire another, and now the ripple effect had begun. Children in Burkina Faso were singing hope, and the world was finally listening. Snoop leaned back, looking at the sky above his backyard, thinking aloud. This right here, this is bigger than music. This is love in motion. Do you want me to continue with Snoop organizing? A live fundraiser to help the villages directly. Just as the first rays of dawn broke over Long Beach, Snoop's phone buzzed insistently. Groggy, he picked it up, only to see a secure call request labeled President Traoré, urgent. His heart skipped. On the video screen, Traoré appeared, calm yet radiant with energy. "Brother Snoop," he said warmly, "I have something I want you to see. It's not just about words anymore. It's about action." With a few taps, Traoré shared a live feed from the largest village Snoop had not yet seen. Hundreds of children were gathered in a dusty field, holding hand-painted banners that read, "Snoop Dogg, our voice, our hope," and "From Burkina Faso, with love." The kids began to chant Snoop's lyrics in perfect rhythm, their joy and pride almost tangible through the screen. Snoop dropped to his knees, overcome. "Man, this is bigger than me, bigger than music. They're alive in their hope because we see them." His crew watched in stunned silence, understanding that they were witnessing a rare convergence, the power of celebrity, compassion, and leadership, creating a global moment of pure connection. President Traoré smiled softly, the corners of his eyes crinkling. "Now, Snoop, let's show the world that hope can travel. Let's make sure no child here feels forgotten again." "Do you want me to continue with Snoop and Traoré planning a worldwide campaign to directly help the children and villages?" Snoop carefully tore open the envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter, the paper slightly crinkled as if it had traveled 1,000 miles. The letter was from a young girl named Amina, one of the children featured in the live feed from Burkina Faso. "Dear Uncle Snoop," it began, her words small but deliberate. "We never thought someone so far away could see us. Your songs give us courage. You remind us we are not alone. President Traoré told us you were listening, and now we believe we can dream bigger. Thank you. Please come one day. We will be waiting." Snoop's hand shook. He read it again, then again, his eyes blurred with tears. "Man, she wrote me this," he whispered. The weight of the letter hit him harder than any awards, any hits, any fame. This wasn't just admiration. It was a lifeline, a bridge, across continents, a promise that someone cared. He immediately called Traoré. "Brother, she wrote me. Amina, we have to go there. We can't just watch from screens." Traoré nodded, his own eyes glistening. "Then let's show them. Let's bring the world's hope to their doorstep." "Do you want me to continue with Snoop planning a journey to Burkina Faso with Traoré to meet the children and launch a global initiative?" The chat exploded. Fans flooded the comments with hearts, prayer emojis, and words of support. "Uncle Snoop, this is real," one wrote. "We feel your heart," typed another. But Snoop wasn't looking at the screen anymore. He was looking inward, feeling a weight he had never carried before, a responsibility he now understood. He leaned back, shaking his head. "Man. Family. That's bigger than any award. That's bigger than music. That's bigger than me." Later that evening, he called Traoré. "Brother, we have to do more than just listen. We have to go there. We have to meet them, see their faces, let them know it's real." Traoré's voice was steady but filled with emotion. "Then let Us do it together. Let's show them the world cares. Let's bring hope not just in words but in action. Snoop nodded, determination replacing his tears. That night he began planning a journey that would change both his life and the lives of countless children in Burkina Faso. The world had witnessed his heart. Now it was time to turn it into something tangible. I promise, Snoop continued, his voice breaking but steady, that I'm going to use everything I got to lift these kids up, to show them they're not forgotten. We're going to make sure the world hears their stories, feels their struggle, and shares their hope. He held the letter close to his chest, letting the weight of the words sink in. This is bigger than music, bigger than fame, bigger than me. It's about family, and family we don't leave behind. The chat erupted once more. Hearts, prayers, and messages of solidarity flooding in from every corner of the globe. In that moment, Snoop realized the power of connection. One letter, one voice, one act of kindness had ignited a movement that spanned continents. And for the first time in a long while, the world felt a little closer, a little warmer, and a lot more human. Yes, sir, Snoop replied, still holding the letter close, his mind racing. We have a proposal for you, the official continued. President Traoré and our team would like to invite you to Burkina Faso, to see the children, the schools, the communities you've already inspired, to meet the kids in person and witness the impact of your voice. Snoop paused, his heart pounding. You're serious, he whispered, almost to himself. Yes, Mr. Dogg, we want you there. Your presence will mean more than words ever could. Snoop leaned back in his chair, taking a deep breath. Man, I don't even know what to say, but I'm coming. I'm going to see them, and we're going to make sure nobody forgets them. Across the Atlantic, President Traoré smiled, a quiet sense of anticipation filling the room. He's coming, he murmured, and together we'll show the world what hope really looks like. President. Traoré continued, his voice calm but earnest. You may think it's just music, just words, but for them, it's a lifeline. You've reminded them that they matter, that someone sees them. Snoop nodded slowly, swallowing hard. I didn't know it was hitting them like that. Man, I just wanted to share my story, my struggle. Didn't realize it could give someone else strength. That is exactly why I reached out, Traoré replied softly, because strength is contagious. Your courage, your honesty, it inspires far more than you know. Snoop leaned back, taking a deep breath. I've been in this game a long time, seen a lot, done a lot. But this right here, this is something else. Feels like I finally understand what it's really about. A warm silence fell. Between them, the kind that speaks louder than words. Two worlds, hip-hop and leadership, had found a bridge. And in that moment, both men knew something profound had begun. A connection that would change lives on both sides of the ocean. His hand covering his face as tears welled up. Man, I never thought I'd feel this connected to kids halfway across the world, he whispered. But hearing you talk, I get it now. We're living the same struggle, just different streets. Trey's eyes softened. Exactly, brother. It's not about where you come from, it's about what you give back. Your voice, your story, it reaches places I could never reach alone. Snoop wiped his cheeks, looking back at the screen with a small, determined smile. Then we gotta do something real, not just talk. We gotta make sure they know somebody's got their back. Trey nodded, a quiet resolve in his gaze. That is why I wanted to speak with you personally. Together, we can create a bridge of hope. And maybe, just maybe, show the world what true leadership and true heart can do when they meet. For the first time, Snoop felt a mission larger than music, a purpose that stretched across continents, connecting lives through hope, courage, and compassion. Within hours, the clip went viral. News outlets across the globe picked it up, with headlines like, Snoop Dogg moved to tears by African president's message of hope. And when? Music meets humanity. Snoop Dogg and President Traoré inspire the world. Memes and heartfelt posts flooded social media, but this wasn't just about entertainment. It was about connection, empathy, and shared humanity. Fans from all over started posting their own stories of hardship and hope, tagging Snoop and President Traoré. Children in Burkina Faso were seen holding signs with lyrics from Snoop's songs alongside phrases of gratitude to both men. Even celebrities chimed in, expressing awe at the unexpected emotional exchange. Snoop, meanwhile, sat back after posting the clip with the caption, "Sometimes a man's heart gotta speak. For the kids, for the hope, for the world." And just like that, a single heartfelt call became a global movement, reminding everyone that compassion knows no borders. The room fell quiet for a moment, the usual chatter of a radio studio replaced by the weight of Snoop's words. He continued, voice cracking slightly. And that's why it mattered. It wasn't just a message. It was a reminder that somebody out there cares, that our music, our stories can lift people when they feel forgotten. Listeners called in immediately, some sharing their own tears, some praising Snoop for showing vulnerability rarely seen in hip-hop. Social media exploded as clips of the interview spread, Snoop Dogg talking about hope and humanity. And realest interview ever. This is why we love him. By the time the segment ended, Snoop knew one thing. This week had become bigger than music, bigger than celebrity. It was a global reminder that connection, compassion, and courage could resonate across oceans, changing lives one heartfelt moment at a time. And he said, "They still believe in tomorrow." That broke me. The host was silent, sensing the weight of the moment. Then Snoop added, "So I'm making a promise right here, right now. I'm going to Burkina Faso this week. I need to meet that man. And I need to meet those kids. I want to look them in the eyes." The studio went dead quiet. When the show aired, social media exploded. Snoop's going to Burkina Faso? This is history. Respect. This is bigger than music. The countdown to his visit had begun. 2 days later, Snoop Dogg boarded a private plane bound for Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. Cameras followed, but for once the rapper didn't care about the spotlight. Inside the plane, he sat quietly staring at a picture a fan had sent. Him. A barefoot Burkinabé child holding a handmade sign that read, "We love you, Uncle Snoop." His chest tightened. He whispered, "I ain't ready for this, but I gotta do it." When the plane landed, the airport was filled with thousands of cheering Burkinabé youth, waving flags and handmade posters. Snoop stepped out wearing simple clothes. No chains, no sunglasses, just a man humbled by the moment. President Ibrahim Traoré was waiting at the bottom of the steps. The two men locked eyes. Traoré extended his hand. "Welcome to Burkina Faso, brother." Snoop shook it, his lips trembling. "Thank you for having me, Mr. President. I came to learn." The crowd roared, but Snoop's heart was heavy with anticipation of what he was about to see. The next morning, President Traoré took Snoop to a small rural village outside Ouagadougou. There were no cameras, no press, just the people. Children ran barefoot to greet them, their laughter echoing through the dusty air. Snoop bent down, hugging them one by one. A little girl handed him a small handmade bracelet of colorful beads. "For you, Uncle Snoop," she said softly in French, her eyes shining. Snoop put it on immediately, his hands trembling. "Thank you, baby girl." As they toured the village, Snoop saw families living in huts, mothers cooking over open fires, and children studying under a tree because there was no classroom. His tough exterior crumbled. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, "This is real. This is real life." Traoré placed a hand on his shoulder. "Now you see why we fight every day, not for power, but for them." Snoop nodded, unable to speak. In that moment, he understood that his visit wasn't about celebrity. It was about humanity, and the world was about to witness the most powerful part of his journey yet. That evening, Snoop Dogg and President Ibrahim Traoré sat under the stars in the village. There was no press, no flashing lights, just two men and quiet hum of the African night. Snoop finally broke the silence. You know, I've stood on the biggest stages, seen the biggest crowds, but this right here, this is the most powerful thing I've ever felt. Traoré looked at him calmly. Because this is truth, brother. The world can give you money, fame, applause, but the love of the people, especially children, is priceless. Snoop wiped his eyes. Man, you speak from the soul. You remind me that being a leader isn't about what you wear, it's about what you give. Traoré smiled softly. Exactly. Leadership is service, and we serve so that tomorrow is better than today. Unknowingly, someone had recorded a small part of their conversation. When it leaked online that night, it became the most shared video clip on social media. The caption read, "Two giants, one truth, humanity first." The following day, Snoop Dogg made an announcement that shook both America and Africa. Standing beside President Traoré in front of the village children, he declared, "I'm pledging to build a school right here so these babies don't have to learn under a tree anymore." The children erupted in cheers, some running to hug him. Mothers covered their faces with tears of joy. Snoop bent down to one little boy and whispered, "You're going to be the next president, little man. Don't stop dreaming." Traoré moved to tears himself, embraced Snoop tightly. "Brother, you've given these children hope that will outlive us both." News of the pledge spread like wildfire. Across the globe, people applauded not just the generosity, but the genuine bond between a world-famous rapper and a humble African leader. That night, hashtags like Our Hope for Burkina and Snoop Traoré trended worldwide. For the first time in days, the village slept peacefully because the world was watching and hope felt real. On the final day of his visit, Snoop Dogg stood before the villagers one last time. He struggled to hold back tears as the children sang him a farewell song in their native tongue. Traoré placed the handmade bracelet, now worn and dusty, back in Snoop's hand. "This is more than jewelry. It's a reminder. Never forget us." Snoop shook his head, tears streaming. "I'll never forget. Y'all changed me." As his plane took off, videos of the farewell flooded the internet. Millions wept as they watched the tough rapper break down openly holding the hands of barefoot children. Back in America, Snoop went live on Instagram. His voice cracked as he said, "If you all ever doubted real leadership, look at President Traoré. That man, he's the truth." The video broke records for live viewers, and so in just 1 week, the world had witnessed not just a viral moment, but a lesson in humility, love, and the kind of leadership the world craves. Dear viewers, if this story moved you to tears, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit like to show your support, subscribe so you never miss more powerful stories like this, and most importantly, drop a comment below. What part of this story touched your heart the most? Your words matter. Let's spread hope together.